Obviously, in any kind of mine, you can't be afraid of the dark because it's
Oh no, yeah,
it
they
is
get
pitch
dark,
dark in
yeah.
there.
My
Yeah.
dad was always a catfish from the days, catfish back in the days, back, and that was back in the days when there was a lot more water
Like, what are you
around.
gonna do with that? He's like, I'm gonna take him home and eat him. I'm like, that's a gopher snake. I'm like, that's okay. I was like,
Whatever.
maybe. Yeah, he got it home and he cooked it. He threw it on the grill and it was so tough.
Figure out how I can share it aside from the videos and stuff, which I've enjoyed. And
Welcome to Two Side Outdoors.
So, welcome back. So, today I got a special guest from Lost 40 Lures. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph. My name's Ken Nyberg, and like you said, Lost 40 Lures. We're kind of the home of the murder frog at this point. We're launching our first product here coming next April. It'll be available for retail, but we're kind of in the ramp up phase and the testing, and it's if you haven't seen it on Instagram, it's a big frog, 5 inches long. But aside from it being just a large frog, it's also we've patented this hook jig system that goes inside it, and it can be top water or subsurface depending on how you rig it. But big bass, muskie, pike, that kind of thing.
That is,
and I'm the chief marketing officer, you can call me.
That is pretty sweet though. Like from some of the pictures and stuff that I've seen of it, how it's like a quad hook, I guess you can say, more or less.
Yeah. So we're calling it the Quattro or the L40 Quattro jig system. So it takes your standard frog hook that you'd find in a topwater frog, and we doubled it. So
it's like that upward facing, more or less.
Yeah.
Double hook.
Yeah. So now there's an upward and a downward facing hook. In theory, doubles your hookup rate.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea. We fish some really thick stuff, and hookup rate can be tough. The frog that we developed covers up the hooks though, and it keeps it like a weedless system. So
that's what I was just about to ask.
And that's like, for us, like fishing frogs, fishing topwater, that kind of stuff, our weed mats get pretty. I'm from Minnesota. My brother's part of the company too. He's in Minnesota, and then our cousin, is in North Carolina. In Minnesota, we fish a lot of heavy, thick weed beds. Towards later summer, they get pretty nasty, and like you can't get an average lure through there, I'd say.
No, yeah, it's like anything you throw on top of weeds. It's like you better have some sort of a weedless hook, or else you're getting snagged in that real easy.
Heck yeah. I can't see fishing a frog that wasn't, weedless or top water for that matter. It's tough.
No, I've experienced some of that out here where I have, what are they? I think they're that lunker hunt.
Yep.
I have one that's a bluegill, the little whopper plopper kind of thing.
Very cool.
And that one I've caught a few decent sized bass off of out here at one of the local lakes, and it's worked throwing it into some of the deep weeds and stuff just because of the way it's made.
Yeah. I love some of the lunker hunt stuff, and like they got some nasty frog stuff. Like I think they have some more creature baits that are really like on that weedless side too, for sure. Yeah, and it's we created this bait to not like, we're not pushing down anyone else too. That's not our intent. We would never want to be like, don't use that lure, use our lure. It's like we're all just playing in the same pond.
No, yeah, seriously.
We created a bait that we want to fish, like, and we just hope that other people want to fish it, right? So I was out earlier today throwing it through some heavy. Finally the lily pads are popping up, and I can actually like test its full like weedless capabilities, and it was just no problem. I had the top water one on, and it was just bouncing off of everything. I was super proud of it, I guess.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's been a fun like testing it out, getting it fine tuned. there's always like little things you didn't expect to go wrong that start happening. You're like, well, shoot, we got to fix that. Back to the mold.
So, what did you guys like realize when you guys first did your first like prototypes with it? Like, was it catching on certain things, or was it just like sinking, or what was going on?
Yeah, so straight away we created a sinking one, right? Mm-hmm. And right off the bat, we're like, these legs are way too flimsy. Like, we wanted to beef up the legs. That was probably our first iteration. My cousin is down in North Carolina. He's the one, Gabe. You'll see him online too. He's like pouring all the baits right now, working with the mold makers and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he's doing all the forks right now and fine tuning that process. But he'll send them up here, periodically, and we'll test them out in our waters. But yeah, that first one, as soon as I got it, I'm like, man, these legs are pretty flimsy looking. And we're using that really durable plastisol. Like, you can really reef on them without
get some good stretches on it.
Yeah, for sure. But just the diameter of it, like, man, I would love it to like not break off right away.
Yeah.
These aren't a cheap bait. They're not your most expensive, like, big bait, soft body, but like, they're not cheap either, right? We want them to hold up to some action for sure.
At least for a good multiple use kind of thing, more or less.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would consider the body still replaceable, still like, just like any of your soft replaceable baits.
Yeah.
We got 1,000 different brands out there creating them, but like, still, I'd like it to hold up to a handful of fish.
I know, it's like recently one of our local bait makers out here, I bought a mold and I gave it to him. I was like, hey, with any of your leftover stuff that you use to pour for other customers and stuff, make me some little bugs, basically. I bought a little panfish mold.
Yeah, great.
And he gave them to me maybe about a week or two ago, and I've been trying them since. Bluegills have been tearing them up like crazy.
Really?
Tiny little, like, 1-inch bug, and they tear it up.
Like, in a good way, it's working well?
Well, it's working well, but since it's so small and thin, it does come apart real easy.
Uh-huh. We have noticed that, too, with, like, the different grades of plastisol. Some of them are super durable, but they don't have that crush factor either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our bait needs to crush to get those hooks exposed. So it's like that fine line of being too stiff versus, like, not stiff enough.
Too soft and then just tears.
Right. When I started fishing, just testing it in Lake Superior here, in the middle of the winter, because you got open water, but the water is 30 degrees, and those legs will stiffen up just because it's so cold.
Oh, geez.
That you'll lose some action, but nobody's fishing these things in 30-degree water.
Yeah, that's some cold water.
Yeah. You don't want to fall in that water.
No, yeah, out here it's pretty consistently warm for the most part, and I've noticed, because this is gonna be my third year out here, and it was totally different learning how to fish out here, because I'm from Southern California.
Okay.
And that area was very simple. I grew up there, so it's just like I could fish all that area and know what to do. As soon as I moved out here, a whole new ball game.
Yeah. I feel like this start of the season has been super slow for me. Like, we just had opener 2 weeks ago now.
Okay.
Like, we have a closed season on most game fish, and then bass opens up like Mother's Day or whatever.
Well, see, that's weird. So it's like, kind of, is it just that they're not biting, or is it, what do you mean by opener?
Well, we have an opener, which is like open season on them.
So there's actually like seasons for it?
Yeah, so there's a closed season on almost every game fish here, except for like crappie, sunfish, some of your rough fish, things like that, are open season all year long. but they close like walleye, northern pike, bass, things like that. For a couple reasons, it gives them a chance to spawn, in peace, which is great. And I can't, there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. And like, to be honest, like the water temperature around here is so cold up until a certain point that the fish kind of shut down.
They're just very lethargic and whatnot.
Super lethargic, yeah. So, like, water temperature around here is a huge, game play here. I can't, everyone has a different, like, at this point they'll start biting, but it's mid-50s, like, almost before they'll start, like, really going for it.
See, I've never heard of another state or anything having like actual seasons like that where.
Yeah, even like even Wisconsin, which is really close to where I live. I drove over there just to get some early fishing in because they have an open bass season all year long. They close for like walleye and stuff. That's probably like the hottest game fish there is, in the Midwest is the walleye. Everyone's crazy for them. I don't really keep fish myself, so I'm kind of like, you can have your walleyes. I want to like sport fish more. So. Walleyes are fun, but also they're like you said, they're lethargic.
Yeah.
Catch them and they go right away.
No, yeah, that's a little different. It's like out here, it's open season all year round, no matter what. It seems like. It's just that we just have to kind of play off of their, I guess, water temperatures of when they'll be more active, I guess you can say.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, Gabe down in North Carolina, he had the same situation with the largemouth. He was trying to catch some early season too and just couldn't find a bite. On some of these lakes that, like, they have, like, huge, like, bass tournaments on. He can't find a bite on them. I'm like, it's too cold, man. It's like 40-degree water.
Yeah, that's cool. And I seen, because you have another page as well, don't you? Where you do like graphic design a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm a graphic designer by day.
Okay.
Oh, and I got to know a bunch of people in like the swim bait, like big bait community before we kind of kicked this thing off. So it gave me a slight edge on just like getting in the community and getting like our Instagram in front of people and like kind of getting the word out. It's been super helpful. Yeah, I work for a company, but then I also like freelance, and I just found this niche like in the fishing community. So it kind of it's worked out, and it's like that's the stuff that's super fun to design. So
yeah,
because I'm fishing so much, so like it's just kind of a natural, So yeah, I just kind of I can make our stuff look cool and hopefully look cool, and
No, that's cool. I know I dabble a little bit in it with designing some of the stickers and stuff. So like some of these ones on here, one of these ones. So this is one of my good friends. It's his brand. He wanted me to add some stuff to it to where, like, say, add a hook to where Yuma's at on the state, basically.
Sure.
Or I think so. This is actually the most recent one that I did for him. I know it's kind of hard to see just because of the light, or whatever it is. It's holographic, yeah. Cool. And then he has this other one right here, which is his original. I've changed that one multiple times for him, where changing color, font, and things like that.
Sure.
And then I've done my own as well.
That's cool. Yeah,
it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these, like, the fishing guys, like, love a cool design, and they really appreciate, like, anything you can do for them, too. Like, Throwback Swim Baits is, like, how I got kind of in the swim bait area. I don't know if you know Kyle and Throwback, but he's kind of like, he's, one of the higher end, like, leading the pack of the swim bait kind of revolution here. He's got a couple, like, flagship swim baits that he's created, and, like, we've now been working together for, I don't know, 6-7 years probably at this point. And
oh, wow.
So anything you see from Kyle, I probably touched it at one point in time, all of his packaging and logos and stuff. So it's been fun, and
That's cool.
He's another Minnesota guy, so yeah, it's very cool.
That's cool. I know. I don't know if you follow them or if some of our guys follow you that are out here. CNC Baits.
Okay.
He's another bait maker out here. Does a lot of bass baits and stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah. Like I know more like probably the name of the bait than the bait maker.
He does a lot of
Like,
ball drop worms. He calls them.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and I don't know. He has so many different colors that he blends that he does, but they sure do
awesome.
work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I love like with the hard bait, the big bait stuff, and then people will take them and like do their own custom paint jobs, or there's shops that just do the paint jobs, and then people will like buy those at an upcharge. I'm like, man,
Oh yeah, there's
really cool.
There's another one out here. Got to kind of give him a little bit of a shout out. Pete Rodents for Reckless Rodents.
Oh yeah, I know Reckless Rodents.
Yeah, he does some amazing paint jobs on his.
That's the thing. Man, these guys are so talented, and it's incredible. We've now figured out how to paint our baits. So, but we're not going to get crazy because I mean we can only sell a rubber bait for so much, you know. Like we probably wouldn't want to put in 4 or 5 hours into painting one.
Yeah.
So then just $20 for it. But we're doing like dabs of different like fluorescent paints, and to make it like you can almost like make it look like toxic or like, you know.
Yeah.
They're very cool, like different two-tone kind of versions. So there's a million possibilities, but we're just kind of dabbling in that right now.
No, it's like I'm surprised with like some of the colors and stuff that people throw, and bass hit them.
Oh, bass are such a reaction fish, you know. It's like they attack and then think about it. It seems, you know. People like. I'm not saying like the bait doesn't matter. Sometimes it really.
No, yeah, it does.
But
yeah.
If they're hitting top water, you know, I've seen people hook on like GI Joes and stuff. And
Yeah, yeah. I've seen like the whole thing where they do like little Mickey Mouse, like a little surfer or some sort, and bass hit it.
Yeah. So I think it also like obviously some of that stuff is staged and on a private pond somewhere, you know.
It could be. It definitely could be.
Yeah. You know, some of your more natural bass, you know, are going to be a little more finicky, but.
But yeah, so other than these baits and stuff like that, what are some of your like, I guess, targeted species of fish that you like to catch the most?
Yeah, I'm in Duluth, Minnesota, which is like right on Lake Superior. It's right at the tip of Lake Superior in Minnesota. And like, I don't fish the big lake too much. That's like a whole different game. Trout, you know, salmon, like stuff. Awesome. I've been on there, caught smallmouth and stuff, but I fish a lot of the rivers that enter the lake. And it's like smallmouth heaven, you know?
Oh, wow.
That's my like, if I could choose one fish to like fish the rest of my life, it'd be a smallmouth bass.
Uh-oh. We get some technical difficulties here.
Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, we lost you a little bit right there.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I was saying if I could fish just smallmouth the rest of my life, great. The murder frog itself, maybe a little bit too big for your average smallmouth bass here in Minnesota, but fish a lot of like tube jigs, spinners, things like that. Fish the river a ton. There's no shortage of rivers and bodies of water here, but I think probably smallmouth, and then muskie. You know.
Yeah.
If you're going for like, I don't know if you guys have muskie down there, but
it's like, isn't like muskie and pike kind of very similar?
Very similar, yeah.
Because I think they have northern pike here in northern Arizona.
Sure. It is something like, I don't know, more special. I shouldn't say special, but the muskie is like a little more. It's like your rare Pokemon, you know.
I thought it was a little bit like a larger of a fish compared to a pike.
And they can get huge. Yeah, that's the thing. They can get like 45, 50, 60 inches. You know, these things are massive. So, and you can find them in tiny rivers sometimes, depending on the time of the year and stuff. And there's nothing cooler than hooking into a muskie in your kayak in like a
It sits there and drags you
20-foot
around.
wide creek. It's insane. So that's the most like adventure fishing I guess we do.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I'm mostly a kayak canoe guy. I avoid we do a lot of like Googling and looking up lakes and like cutting through the woods and going and finding like a little, pond that might have a fish or two in it. For us, it's a lot about the adventure. That's kind of like part of the philosophy of Lost 40 Lures too, is like this adventure fishing kind of thing. So
it's like the wandering. Not all who wander are lost.
exactly. Yeah, and that's part of our philosophy, and I kind of avoid big lakes typically with all the traffic and people in their speedboats and stuff.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything like that, they're probably catching bigger fish than me. But I enjoy the canoe and kayak, the peacefulness of that for sure.
Oh no, it's like I've done my fair share of kayaking too, and it's fun because you can get up into those little crevices of areas to where like a boat can't get to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just earlier today I had my daughter out on my she kind of can sit on the front of my kayak and she can fish while we're going.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I was like, don't worry about all these boats. We're going back. We're gonna find some back days where we can be by ourselves and cast around. So
yeah, there's a local lake here where me and my brother-in-law we take our kayaks out to right there, and we could sit there and just fish the edge and catch largemouth, and then a lot of just panfish and crappie sometimes.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're like Minnesota is known as like the land of 10,000 lakes, and like where I'm from is technically like an hour and a half, 2 hours north here, and it's just like you can just pond hop all day if you wanted to.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's like most of it's state land, so you just kind of go do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Around Duluth, there's a few big lakes, reservoirs, but they get pretty, hit pretty hard on, typically.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, I'd say the bigger lakes get a lot of pressure. That's why I like the river too, because like, again, you can get into where those boats can't get, rocky and stuff.
Trying to think of I lost my train of thought.
Good.
And say you can shoot questions back too. That's totally fine as well.
Yeah. No, you were saying you're a catfish guy. I've never fished catfish before. I know like a couple things about it. There's some huge ones here again in the river, but you mostly just bank fish, I assume.
So recently I got a small little John boat. So it's like I've been testing the waters with that, trying to see where I can kind of use that a little bit more, because some of the part of the lower Colorado River here is very shallow. Okay. So it's like I can't use just like a regular outboard motor. So I bought this boat with a longtail motor, they call it. Yeah. It's, what is it? It's like the Thai style boat, more or less, you can say.
Yeah. Yep.
And
that's cool.
Just using that thing recently, just through the water and stuff, that thing, it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good time.
And then catfish-wise, a lot of because do you guys have just like channel cats out there, or is it flatheads or blues?
Yeah, I think they're channel cats. Yeah, and they'll get some big ones coming off of Lake Superior up in the rivers.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of guys that fish kind of in the same area where I do a lot of my fishing. They'll be all set up on the bank. It's just, I don't know, I guess a glob of bait or worms or whatever.
There's different ways that you can do. Like I've sat there and I fished just a glob of worms before and never caught a thing.
No.
I put a live bluegill on there, and next thing you know, the rod's screaming.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Huh. Yeah, it's kind of cool because that same spot you can catch sturgeon too.
Oh, that's cool.
And we get some huge sturgeon that come off the big lake, and that's like another one of those like prize fish, you know.
So growing up in California, there was a lake that would stock sturgeon in it.
Okay.
And if you were to catch one, you'd get a big old prize, basically.
Sure, that's cool.
And I remember one time it was me and my dad and my cousin. We were out fishing on that lake. And this big old sturgeon just comes up and just circles us like a shark.
Wow.
This is the craziest thing.
And we so every year we go to the Quetico, which is like the Canadian side of the Boundary Waters.
Mm-hmm.
And the Boundary Waters is like hundreds of thousands of acres of like natural habitat. And they like it's a permit park, so they only allow so many people in at a time, you know.
Yeah.
So we always do the Canada side, which is like the Boundary Waters U.S. side times, I would say times 10, you know, in the wilderness factor. Like, you can paddle for a week and not see a single person, you know.
Oh wow.
So growing up, I went there with my dad and stuff, and one time by accident, he thought he hit a log. My buddy hooked a sturgeon. We were fishing from shore, and the thing like rose up out of the water. Like it was probably like 3 feet of water where he hooked it to, and he just caught it on like the just like the little, I don't know, fin, the pectoral fin.
Yeah.
It's like floated up, and he had it hooked good enough that we called my dad over and my uncle, hopped in the canoe, and we like chased it around the lake, and we eventually like shored the thing. I had to jump out and like finish dragging it onto shore. It was insane. It was like, you know, as far as sturgeons go, it's probably like not even that big, but
That's probably still pretty good size still.
Yeah. Right. Still probably like, you know, half hour fighting it, and I think it was probably 4 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like insane. So they're out there.
No, yeah, it's like some of the guys out here, they do pretty good catching like whatchamacallit, the large flatheads.
Oh yeah.
Recently there was a guy that caught, I think it was 56 pound flathead out of the river. And it's just like, where the hell do these monsters live?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's in the Colorado?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think we have flathead up here. Not that I know of.
I think the water might be a little too cold for them.
Yeah,
possibly. I know channels and like blues, they tend to do a little more of the cold water stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I never caught one. I caught some bullhead. That's kind of like a catfish, but not really.
Yeah, it's just a small catfish, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We have those out here too, and they bite like hell though too.
Yeah, they'll eat whatever.
It's like, I think the last time I tried I was fishing for tilapia, and I was catching bullhead on beef jerky. Yeah.
Those tilapia you guys catch, those are some wild looking things too.
Some of them out here are huge though. That's the other thing.
Pretty freak looking.
They get big.
Yeah, that'd be something to catch. That'd be cool. I can't relate. We don't have anything like that. We got some weird fish, but nothing like that.
Because, well, it's like you said, you have smallmouth, large, your typical panfish, crappie, walleye, muskies, and then lake trout, I believe, right?
Yeah, lake trout, brown trout, rainbow trout. Yeah, they got, I mean, Lake Superior's, you know, the largest, like, freshwater lake by volume or something.
Yeah, I think so,
I think that's the claim to fame. So, yeah, there's some monsters out there. And I mean, I've done some trolling for them, never had any luck, just in my kayak. It's a very intimidating lake in a kayak, you know, as you can imagine.
No, yeah.
And it's crystal clear, too, so you just, like...
You can glance down and, like, look...
Oh, exactly. As soon as you hit that edge, you feel like you fell off a cliff, and you're like, this is intense, man. I only attempt it when it's, like, perfectly calm, and I just, like... I have a decent fishing kayak now, So like I get some extra stability from that, but yeah, it's not to be messed with for sure.
What kind of kayak do you run?
I use a Pelican catch, like mode 110, I think that's what it's called. It's just a standard like Pelican fishing kayak, but I really like it for its stability, and it has some like versatility on like it has the mount for like a rudder
Oh, that's cool.
and things like that. Has some like customization. It's really, my only source of exercise at this point. We're working at the computer all day, so it's like I stick with with the kayak paddle, and I got to get something.
That's cool. No, yeah, out here I've kayaked a few spots. Did a little kayak camping trip with my nephews
Awesome.
on the Colorado River, close to Vegas by the Hoover Dam.
Mm-hmm.
And the water up there was super clear. Like,
really?
yeah, like how you said, you just like you look off and it just like it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super clear there. And that day that I think it was like the next morning or that same day after we camped there and just sight fishing for rainbow trout on there. I think I hooked my PB rainbow trout there.
Dang, that's really cool. Is it like really cold? Is that like mountain runoff, I assume?
I believe so, yeah, because, Colorado River, I think that runs all the way from Grand Canyon, I believe.
Sure. It must be, huh? That's cool. And it's really clear. I was just like, I guess I don't picture that much water, but of course there's lots of water. Like, I always think of like California and Arizona as being pretty dried up, but I'm sure there's a lot of water.
Well, it's like I'm surprised too. It's like for how much sun Yuma gets, because if you were to type in Google sunniest place on Earth,
Really?
Yuma comes up.
I believe it.
And
I've never been to Arizona. I work for a company. My day job is a company out of California, so like I've been to California a handful of times, and Southern California.
no, yeah, it's like
I've never been there either. So
I'd say if you do go to California, fish an area in, what is it? It's like the Sierras, kind of Lake Isabella. That's a pretty good
Okay.
area. Kern River right there, pretty good area.
okay. Nice.
Lot of trout that you can just catch there on just like flies and stuff, or
Okay.
just the lake right there too. You can catch all sorts of different fish there too.
Very cool. Yeah, so like with the bait and like this like fishing community that I've kind of like, injected myself into, we do have the bait going out to 21 testers like at the beginning of next month, fingers crossed. And then that just reminded me because we got a bunch of California guys that are going to be fishing there. So hopefully they'll be like hitting those spots. I imagine because there can't be too many.
There's just lots
Like-
of places. I know, where was it that recently I seen somebody caught a 9-pound bass at a Lake Hemet, I believe. And
That's
I
just
was
like-
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. The Minnesota state record is just over 8 pounds.
Oh wow.
So when I see like a 15-pound bass caught in California, I'm like, that doesn't even register in my head. I don't even know what that would look like.
No, it's
Oh,
like I
eat
seen that
our
picture
state
too,
record.
and I was just like, how the heck out of a lake that normally I go to and I'm just catching trout, this person caught a bass? What's going on here?
Just eating them trout. Yeah, so one of our buddies, Jay Sayron, he is going to be testing the bait, and he is one of those guys that has like landed, like a 15-pound bass. I'm like, so fingers crossed, he gets it in front of a murder frog.
The heck is going on here? My computer's being weird. There we go.
I do have like 2 minutes left on this
Same
40-minute Zoom.
Same here. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a 2-minute warning, but we could always like jump back on if you wanted to finish something.
Okay. No, yeah, we should be pretty good. I think. Unless there's any other questions that you got for me or anything, really.
No. I just you've talked to a handful of people now. I listened to a couple of your episodes and stuff. It's always fun to hear like perspective of pro fishermen and things like that. So it's just super cool.
No, yeah. And learning, like for me, learning things from certain bait makers and stuff, or lure makers in general. It's like, okay, I've learned how to kind of fine tune my ways of fishing now just by doing that.
Yeah. Right. Totally. Yeah. Like I said, we're testing pretty extensively here, the murder frog. And like, it's a big bait, and we caught about a 2-pound bass on it, so I'd say anything under that is going to be hard pressed to get this thing in the mouth. But also, I see it from a Minnesota perspective, and it's like, we got some of the smallest fish in the country here in Minnesota, so anything, it's just it's all uphill from there, really. I got no doubt.
No, yeah, that bait probably should take off just because of how you have it set up with the four hooks, basically, more or less.
I'm hoping so. So we're gonna, and we're planning on launching some other products that use the same hook system and whatever. So, thanks for having me on your pod here. And
no, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And everyone check out Lost 40 Lures and the Murder Frog.
Yep. No, yeah. So I guess I'll close it up with the outro, and we'll be good to go.